Who said sprint races were boring? Me, actually, a little bit ago. I'm not a massive fan of them personally, but the sprint race for the United States Grand Prix on Saturday. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So let's do it, guys. Let's go through the 5 main highlights from this Saturday's sprint race around the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Because the first thing that we learned is that neither McLaren finished. Neither McLaren made it past turn 1. Both of them out on the opening lap. What happened? It was not a case of them taking each other out. I mean, the entry to turn 1, we've been talking about it all weekend, how important it's going to be. You can run 4, 5 wide going into the corner, but on the exit, 2 or 3 at the absolute most. And that's exactly what happened. You know, we had 4 drivers effectively. Lando, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Nico Hülkenberg, who had an incredible qualifying, let's not forget, on Friday evening. And also Fernando Alonso. They were all running side by side going through that corner, and on the exit it bit. Hülkenberg made contact with Piastri. Piastri made contact with Lando Norris. A pure racing incident, in my opinion. I will go through it a bit more in more detail in a separate video for you guys, but the TLDR for that is that it's a racing incident. I'm not blaming anybody for this one. You know, it's just simply too many cars going for too small of a space. A very typical first lap incident, a very typical first corner incident as well. Nothing that really the McLarens could do. They did what they were always going to do. Alonso was always going to go for a gap. Hülkenberg was looking to take advantage as well. It's just one of those incidents. It happens. Move on. But the repercussions from this are absolutely massive given what happened at the front of the field. But more on that as we go through the show. Next up, I want to talk about George Russell. He got P2 today. A very good result. You know, I'm saying this guy's been having some good results recently, to say the very least, for Mercedes. And another podium, this time a sprint podium for second place. It could have potentially been P1 as well. He made a very late lunge going down the inside of the back straight, trying to overtake Max Verstappen. And in fairness to him, he made the apex. He just ran wide. He just carried too much speed. And it was kind of a similar incident, really, to what happened with Verstappen and Norris 12 months ago. Only this time, of course, Russell was unable to overtake Verstappen, and there was no penalties given out for anything like that either. That seemed to unsettle his car. I'm not sure if his tyres just went a bit off after that, but he was not able to catch up to Max Verstappen. A fine move, a fine attempt by George Russell, but it didn't quite work out for him. Still though, P2, very impressive for him. Not a bad day in the office at all for George Russell at all. But let's talk about Williams next. A great weekend so far for them as well. Carlos Sainz up in P3, managing another podium. I mean, again, it's a sprint podium. You can say what you want about it, but it's still a top 3 finish for a Williams. And Alexander Albon as well, P6, I believe he ended up being at the end of this one. Very impressive from the pair of them, both in the points in the sprint. If they can continue that form into qualifying into the race tomorrow, they're going to be in for a big old points haul. I mean, that 5th place for Williams is very much assured at this point, really, in the Constructors' Championship. But hey, it doesn't hurt to get some more points on the board and build some more confidence heading into that regulation change next year. I want to talk about the Ferraris as well, Hamilton and Leclerc. It was a decent recovery for them, in fairness, today. I mean, yes, they were helped by Hülkenberg, Alonso, Piastri and Norris, all either being out of the race or out of contention. Hülkenberg did manage to finish this race, but he was well down the order. I think he was like P13 by the end of something like that. Helped by a couple of late retirements, but that was a bit farcical from Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon, but part of the course really for Stroll. But yeah, a decent recovery for Ferrari in the end. A top 5 finish for both of their drivers. Hamilton, you know, putting on a fine display. I mean, he is beating Leclerc every now and again now, and he maybe would have managed to do that the other week in Singapore as well if it wasn't for his brake issue. But yeah, in the sprints, Ferrari do seem to be better than what they are in the Grand Prix, the full distance race, but not a bad recovery really for them in the circumstances. Hamilton overtaking Leclerc. Leclerc kind of shutting the door through the S's earlier on in the race, and he apologised for that. You know, it's a very difficult part of the track to go side by side in, and then later on in that lap, going into the braking zone for turn 12, I think it is, the one after the long back straight, Hamilton managed to get past, and he managed to keep it to the end of the race. A very good drive from the pair of them in the end with that one. But Max Verstappen, wins the sprint. I mean, I said he was probably going to do it coming to this weekend. I did not think he was going to do it with McLaren scoring no points in the sprint, and that is 8 points gained. It's not the biggest gain really overall, but it's still significant. I think he is now 34 points behind Lando Norris, who is in second place. It is still a long way to go, and I think it's like 50 odd behind Oscar Piastri, who is first. It's not impossible. It really, really isn't impossible. And, you know, all the Max fans are getting pretty cocky online, you know, saying, oh, this is our championship. They're slipping up. They're bottling. I don't know if they're being serious when they're saying that, to be honest with you, but it was really unfortunate for McLaren today. But, you know, Max did what Max does. You know, he's very good in sprint races, and he also capitalized really well when his title contending rivals, I mean, is he in the title fight? Is he in the conversation? People are talking about it, and that gap is going down. So McLaren will be really, really sweating bullets coming into qualifying on Saturday evening in Texas, and then going into the race on Sunday. Because again, if we get another incident where the McLarens are in the midfield, if they are battling with other drivers, it's a big, big risk, and you know that could really cause some severe problems for them. Your thoughts on the Texas sprint in the comments below, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, guys, if you want to see more of this, have a fantastic day wherever you're on the world today.